laying out a foundation to be like, I'm here, I'm ready, I'm eager, and I am like reliable. So just like
Mhm.
showing all these people that haven't really met me, don't really know me, just like, I am here, I'm not really going anywhere. Let me know what you need, let me know how I can help you. Because those like first year or so of like laying that foundation, now that I'm like starting to do jobs more consistently, I feel like it's those people that I did like cultivate relationships with right away, and I was down to be like, oh, you're doing a music video, let me help you workshop.
Welcome back, team, to another episode of Briggs & Co., where we are leaving average for Joe. This week, I brought on Billy Mustafa. He is an Albertan, and he has done some incredible work in this industry. Credits such as Dita Von Teese, Tate McRae, the Oscars, and global television, Netflix, Paramount, Disney, you name it, Billy has done it all, and he has done it with a humble heart. It is an honor and a privilege to have chatted with him about his journey growing up in Calgary, Alberta, moving to Vancouver, and then booking his dream jobs in Hollywood. Please enjoy this next episode of Briggs & Co., where we are leaving average for Joe. Hello,
Briggs,
Bill.
how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I missed you lots. Sorry that I've been switching up. This has been like pretty crazy of an experience. I probably won't talk too much about it on this podcast because I don't know what's going on, but whoa, this is crazy.
I am obsessed, simply obsessed with your career and the way that you hold yourself as a human being, no matter what jobs you book. That is just point blank what I need to say, because I bring on people that I admire on this podcast, and I admire you for your obvious skill and talent, but the way that you hold yourself, and no matter who is talking to you, you don't change tone, mood. You are the most respectful human being in this industry, and I want to tip my hat off to you for that.
Yo, you're the sweetest human ever, and I feel the same way about you. Holy smokes, you're just like taking on every single pursuit you've ever desired and just doing it full force. I love it.
Yeah, it's wild what we do, hey?
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about, because I'm very aware of time with your busy, busy schedule. Thank you for jumping on. I know listeners are going to be stoked to hear about your journey as a dancer. And I know that it started in Alberta. So with jumping straight into things, can we hear a little bit about your time growing up in Calgary, Alberta, and then taking that leap that you did to the West Coast?
Absolutely. So I grew up in Calgary, Alberta, and I was training at Dance Spectrum with Miss Wendy and Miss Sarah. And I was doing that from probably the age of like 7 or 8, all the way till I was graduating. And then in my 12th grade, I also was working with Universal Dance, which is like a hip hop focused company,
Okay.
and just got a little bit more like training in that realm, which was amazing for me because I got a lot of technique training at Spectrum. But I am very grateful for that because it's helped me so much. And then after that, I graduated high school and I moved to Vancouver and I did Harbor Dance's intensive training program, which was
Was the
also,
move to Vancouver, sorry to interrupt, but I
no,
want to
get
know
it.
if that move to Vancouver was like, duh, see you later, mom and dad, like this is my next move, or was it like, do I not, do I go here? What was that like?
Yeah, well, my family like was really focused on like education. My parents were both born in Lebanon, so they were like, you guys are going to university. This is like not really a question. So when I was in like the 10th or 11th grade, I remember like telling my mom, like, I'm just going to take like 1 year to dance and then I'm going to go to university. And then like,
Hmm.
and then after it was like, I'm going to just take like maybe 2 years, but it wasn't like really a question for me. And I think
Yeah.
after I started doing it, she was like, "Oh yeah, you're not going." And I'm not saying I'm never gonna go, but I think for them it was just more the peace of mind of like me keeping my grades up because my mom was like really adamant, like, "You're not going to dance class unless you are like doing well in school, and so like
Right.
that was like a nice balance for me to have. And then that did open up possibility for me, like if I decided I wanted to go to school, or if like I wasn't feeling it, or if it like was feeling too like strenuous or not like what I wanted to do, I still had the option. And I think that's always what she really wanted. But
Mm.
it, for me, it wasn't like this is a clear answer. And I also thought like, oh, there's no way I'm gonna just be able to like pursue dance full time. I thought I was just gonna like try and then maybe have to like double duty my life. But having the ability to know that I could fall back onto something was nice, but it
So
wasn't just like I'm
going
gonna, yeah.
so going to Vancouver, your headspace was, okay, I'm going to try it. I'm going to get into a program. And you did have to audition for this program, correct?
I did, and I auditioned in Calgary because they do a little tour around.
They do a tour around. You got into the program, and while you were in that program, did you also work a second job? Like, did you work a job?
So I did a couple things while I was in the program. I organized a teaching job before I moved because I was already teaching in Calgary and I knew that's what I liked to do. And it was just a nice way for me to like be dancing while also making money and still kind of training. And I enjoy choreographing and I enjoy like mentoring younger dancers. So I was like super game when I found out that I could teach. And I met someone at competition who owned a studio in Abbotsford. And I didn't realize how far away Abbotsford was. So thank goodness I had a car because I would just like drive out once a week and just work like an 8-hour day and like bust out all my classes. And that
Because
was
that
kind of like,
SkyTrain doesn't go all the way to Abbotsford.
no, it sure does not. So good thing that I had a car and I would just take my hour and a half drive there and back and like use that as like my form of like part-time job instead of working like 2 or 3 nights a week at a restaurant. I was just like, I'm gonna bang out a bunch of classes in a night. So I
Yeah.
was doing that, which was like a long day, especially because like ITP had like tech from 9 to 12, and then I would like get in my car at like 1, and then I would teach from like 3 to 9 or whatever it was, um, which was
Yeah.
fun, very fun. But yeah, for me, better than having a coffee shop job, just because
Yeah, and
I
so it's funny you say that because the one of our guests was Louise Hradsky, and she had said she had made a point to say like I knew what I was talented at. I knew what I had already had skills in or experience in. So instead of relearning a new skill, which yes, it there's benefits in that, but she moved to Vancouver and similar to you, got a teaching job because she was already good at that. You can make, quite a bit more than minimum wage doing that, especially if you have experience. And I think that's definitely something that people should keep in mind. And it's not for everyone, obviously. There you have to have a certain skill set to be a teacher and a choreographer. But I think when dancers consider moving to a bigger city, they think, coffee shop or hospitality industry of some sort, and that's
Mhm.
fine. But if if you can get a studio or a choreography job or teaching at all, I think that's definitely something that you should consider.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. And it keeps your body moving and it keeps you creative and
Yeah.
yeah, I
Okay.
prefer it.
You then did you go into year two of that program of ITP? I can't remember.
I didn't. So I did ITP for 1 year, and I simultaneously was doing 247 Hip Hop Company. So I
Mm.
was just like training a lot in a year, like more than my body was used to. And ITP was just 1 year, so I just like did that. I did 2-4 for 1 year, and then after that, I decided that I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do. If I wanted to be staying in Vancouver, if I wanted to like go for the visa right then, because I was like 19 at the time.
And were you
So
already booking some roles?
I was very lucky that I got to do some jobs at a young age. So I
You
was
better
doing
not hold
some.
back here. Let's hear them because you had to you
Um,
so first but you had to get on with an agent. So who did you get on with?
I signed with DaCosta while I was in ITP.
Okay. Did
Um,
DaCosta come to the program?
they did. I knew that I needed to be. I not needed. I knew that I wanted to be signed. So before I even moved, I emailed them in like I want to say like July before I was even in Vancouver, and they were like, "Okay, you're an eager beaver. Hit us up when you actually live here." And the day that I moved into my apartment, it was like August 28th, and I was like, "Hey, I moved, and I would love to have a meeting with you guys. Here's all my stuff." And then when I met with them, they were like pretty excited. And then I told them I was doing ITP, and they were a little bit hesitant just because I think that it's shifted a bit now, but at the time they were hesitant to sign people in training programs.
Yeah.
And then about halfway through the year, they did come to ITP earlier that year and did a little like mock audition with us. And then I did do this like intensive that they were one of like the guest people on the panel. So I danced in front of them a couple times. And then there
So you
was a,
got yourself out there. You got them noticing you in more than
yeah.
one location. You emailed. It's I think some people think when they look at people that they admire, and this is kind of a sidebar, but when they look at people that they admire in this industry or any industry, I don't quite think they understand that usually you work your ASS off to get there. And you're thinking like creatively and strategically and how you can get your name in front of their faces more and more in a respectful way. But um, I don't want people to overlook the fact that you emailed, you got into a program that they attended, and then you also did another, step to make sure that they saw you.
Yeah. And even after that, it still wasn't like, oh, we're for sure going to sign you.
Mhm.
So it did take a lot of like tries, and I don't think it was like you're not good enough thing or we don't want you. I think it was just kind of like you got to earn your way there, or they also don't want to be signing people that aren't in a space that they can be attending the auditions, because I think that being an ITP, they were like, if we get an audition that's this afternoon and we text you while you're in class, it's hard for you to be able to commit to that. So they just, I think, are also trying to ensure that they have the strongest roster possible, and I don't think, yeah, I think they were
Yeah.
just trying to do that before they took anyone on. So I'm happy that I
Okay,
could
tell
show
me
them that I
about
was,
these
yeah.
early jobs that you booked because I want to know. And don't hold back. I want to know favorite jobs, maybe some highlights of them, even a little horror story, if you will.
Okay, I'll tell you that my memory gets foggy when I say them in orders, but I do know that the first job I booked was Once Upon a Time. So I was 17 and it was the summertime, and I took a Greyhound to an audition, and I got in the bus for like, I want to say 12 hours, whatever it was, from Calgary to Vancouver. And I went to the choreographer's class and I took the class. And in the class, he was like, oh, I want to direct book you on this job. Little did I know it was a TV show that I watched called Once Upon a Time. And I was thrilled to do that. So then I stayed for like about a week and I just like did a couple of rehearsals, did a shoot day, and we just waltzed around. And it was really a dream come true to see how I
For
was being treated.
listeners, direct book is like there's no correspondence back and forth, no agent. It's I'm booking this talent that just showed up to the audition.
Which was absolutely insane because
Yeah.
I did not even know that like I had the ability to be dancing in film and TV.
Yeah.
And then to like, yeah, it was really cool. And to be eating the catering and to like see the paycheck that wasn't like my
Yeah.
movie theater paycheck, because that's what I was working at a movie theater at the time. So like to be going from like minimum wage to be getting like a union paying job, I was like, okay, this is not too shabby. So that was one of my favorite experiences, just because I was like, oh, this is possible to have a
Complete eye
career as a
opener.
dancer. Yeah, so that was really cool. And then I remember I did Freaky Friday shortly after that, which was really fun. They did like a remake of Freaky Friday.
Who did you do that
And
with?
choreography was by John Carafa, and Louise, actually, who you already mentioned,
Mm.
was assisting him, as well as other people. It all becomes a blur because a long time ago.
Yeah.
But definitely Louise is out there, I think, vouching for me a lot because hometown Alberta girl. Thank you, Louise.
Yeah. Shout out.
But
You got to
on
make
that
those
specific
connections
job,
and um you never know when they comes around.
yeah, that was my first job experience where I got to be part of the skeleton crew process and then part of the scenes and then like seeing it all unfold. So like to be able to kind of like help, not really help create, but like to be a body in the space that is creating these numbers and like understand where they're going and like the steps they're taking in order to make their vision possible. It was like, okay, this is really cool. I
Right.
also want to be choreographing. I also want to be on this end of things because I don't know, it's just is like a whole nother realm of like dancing is the coolest thing ever, but also being able to create these visuals and like knowing that in film and TV, usually you're trying to progress a storyline. So it's like, how can we tell the story that's going on in this show or movie through dance or like through the song or like I just thought it was really cool. So
Mhm, mhm. And so you spent time then in Vancouver after ITP, booking the jobs. You were starting to consider making that leap that so many dancers consider, which is to LA. And then there's also that tiny little logistical bit there where you gotta hunt down an O1. So to walk us through that time of your life.
yeah, let me walk you through. So I knew that I wanted to get a visa eventually. I just didn't know exactly my timeline. And I also had spent a lot of time in LA just because, like, I would do family trips and I would take myself out and do trips there because it's not as far as, like, in New York. And I knew people there. So I would travel to LA, like, sometimes, but I've never really gotten to dance in New York. So for a month, maybe like 6 weeks, I planned a trip to New York because my sister was living there at the time. Shout out Susie, thank you very much. But I like stayed with her for about a month and just trained really hard. I couldn't be working because I didn't have my visa, so I spent like a month just like taking multiple classes a day, getting on the train back and forth, and was like, oh, I could live here. This is an option for sure. So I did that. Then I went back to Vancouver for a couple months, made my money, went back to LA, spent like 6 weeks there, checked it out, felt the vibes, and I was like, yeah, this is for me. I really want to be living here.
Mm. You shopped around a little bit, and I there's just not enough emphasis I can put on how hard you worked. You showed up, you represented yourself well. You didn't expect jobs if you didn't put in the time, is what I've known you to be. And I think I sound like a broken record, but don't want people to assume that jobs come easy in this industry, or that people make it on the big stages or the big screens because of luck or anything like that. I think a really big chunk of it is how badly do you want it, and you're a living representative of that. And you found a way to get yourself to LA. So how did you book a job to get that O1, or what? How did you get that?
Okay, so my O1, I worked really hard on it and I knew that I wanted to do it for like a long, long, long time. So I went to the next step when I want to say 15 or 16.
And
And
the next
that
step's a
program,
program, right?
exactly, it's put on by the same people that used to run Triple Threat. And they held a program, and part of it was kind of taking like the next steps into your career, which doesn't always mean LA, but they did bring someone in to talk about visas and O1. So I knew exactly what I needed to be like collecting, if I did any shows with the program, if I got any awards. I like had all those things collected. So it wasn't like I was just starting this and then it happened. I like accumulated things over, I would say, like 5, 10 years. And my mom did
Mhm.
help. Thank you, my mom. But then when I was really applying, it was like I started in the summertime and it took me all the way to the fall. So it was like a 5, 6 month process. And I don't know if you want me to go into the things that you need for a visa or this is just
I
my
think, can
story.
you do Cole's notes, because that's valuable.
Yes, I would love to. So the 5 things you kind of need are deal memo, which is kind of the hardest one. And I'll say Megan Lawson, thank you very much, did really help me out with my deal memo. She's also from Calgary and is phenomenal and very much a working choreographer. So you just need to prove that you'll be able to work for the 3 years, which is virtually impossible, but just like a projected itinerary of what you might be doing. So you need a deal memo. You need a sponsor, which is usually an agency, like a company in America that is going to say, this person, I'll be paying this person, or like, I will, I'm vouching that this person is able to live here. So you need a deal memo, a sponsor, you need publicity. Publicity can be magazines, newspapers, um, different things that are just showing, that are focused on you, that are showing that you are valuable and you have recognition and you like you're worth living in the States. And I will tell you, I did have to purchase some of these things because not very many people want to be writing articles about a dancer specifically, especially like a dancer in projects, because usually what I'm usually doing in a project is like dancing behind an artist or dancing behind an actor, or not always, but it's very often. So it's hard to have someone being like, oh, let me write this article about Billy, unless you
Mhm.
are kind of like reaching out for these things. So
Right.
if this is something that you want to do, I would be reaching out for articles and things like that. And the bigger the publication, the better, because they do look into like how many views this site gets and things like that. So
Yeah, and maybe I'll link
that's
some things after the episode so that dancers have some resources into how they can get these articles and assets to build their portfolio.
absolutely, I think you should. Um, the next thing you need, obviously more than these, but these are like the main five. You need to show that you were a leading like role in about five projects. So they don't need to be like the biggest project on earth, but like anything that you can show that you were a leading role in some way. And you can kind of like mess with this a little bit. It doesn't need like I have a show from ITP that I did that I was the dance captain for this piece, and it was a charity event, and there were lots of people there. I wasn't getting paid for this at all, so it wasn't considered a job, but it was a performance opportunity where I was in a leading role, you could say.
Mhm. Mhm.
So you can use these, you can make these work.
Yeah.
And then the last thing you need to do is like proof that you're going to be making enough money. So film and TV is really helpful for this because sometimes you work like a 4 hour day and you're going to make your whole day rate plus a buyout. So you can like be like, oh, I only worked 4 hours, but I made such and such per hour because I got paid my full day rate. So anything that's going to make you look like you're making bank is what they want to see, just so they can be like, oh, this person does make money.
And they're going to contribute to the economy because at the end of the day, they
Exactly.
operate like a business. So,
That's what they want.
um, okay, that is so helpful. And man, oh man, something that dancers at, that just before graduation sort of stage or just at graduation should listen to and definitely consider. And like you said, build that portfolio over time to help yourself. Um,
And I'll also say that I am a resource. Anyone that's listening to this can feel free to reach out to me. I'm not too hard to get a hold of, and I'm happy to like help or like walk through or like give you an information about like who I use to file this, because I do have a lawyer for these things, or like I can just tell you the things that you would need to be doing or the steps you can be taking to be getting closer to that. And yeah,
oh,
use your resources.
listeners, that is so helpful. Billy, how can listeners reach out to you?
Well, you can
Instagram?
email me, maybe, yeah. Instagram for sure, I'll always find it. If not, just double message me and I'll make sure I get there eventually.
Okay.
If not, you can reach out to Briggs for my email, or maybe Briggs can put
Yeah.
this in the notes. Happy to reply to any emails. Um, I'm not too hard to get a hold of. You can pretty much find me wherever and I will get back to you. You'll never annoy me, so just message me.
That is so kind. Okay. So then you got the dang visa, which is such a feat. And what were your sort of immediate bookings coming out of that entire phase?
Okay, so if I'm honest, most of my immediate bookings coming out of that were bookings happening in Canada because I was working an amazing consistent job in Vancouver called Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. So after getting my visa, I was traveling back and forth a lot because most of my like strongest connections were in um, Vancouver. So I was like making my money there, going back, training really hard in LA. I was doing some like music videos, which was super cool, and I was assisting some choreographers on jobs because I've gotten to work with them while I was in Canada. So I was doing things, and like I was very grateful. And I think like the first chunk of my visa was just like laying out a foundation to be like, I'm here, I'm ready, I'm eager, and I am like reliable. So just like
Mm-hmm.
showing all these people that haven't really met me, don't really know me, just like I am here, I'm not really going anywhere. Let me know what you need. Let me know how I can help you, because those like first year or so of like laying that foundation, now that I'm like starting to do jobs more consistently, I feel like it's those people that I did like cultivate relationships with right away, and I was down to be like, oh, you're doing a music video, let me help you workshop this. Oh, you are getting a
Mm,
video today, let me help you with that. Or like I'm excited to learn from you. And those are the people that are still like asking me to share space with them. So
right.
I advocate for those kinds of things.
Yeah, so
I did.
you would say that is something important that not even dancers, entertainers, or anyone really in an industry that they know they don't have the credits yet or the experience on the resume yet, but they want to build these experiences. In order to do that, you say offer yourself. Like, if you have
Yeah,
the time and capability, you never know. Like, usually, if you say, "How can I help you?" or "Is there an opportunity where I can shadow?" I mean, the worst case that can happen is no, but the best case is yes, and now you have experience.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And even if it's
That
a
is
no, it's usually a no followed by, "Oh, I already have someone this time, but I will keep you in mind," or like, "Oh, I see this person's eager. This is happening," or like even referrals, like just staying at the forefront of people's mind and
yeah.
not in an annoying way, but just being like, "I genuinely am excited about dance. I'm genuinely excited about like this like career path that I'm choosing to take and like you're wanting to take those next steps." So I think as long as it's coming off like genuinely, it doesn't hurt to ask and it doesn't hurt to like offer.
Oh, this is so helpful. Can you talk to me about some of your maybe career highs in terms of those TV film roles? Something that like listeners, yes, in the industry, but those that aren't in the industry can kind of hear the names of and go, "Oh, yeah, 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 I saw that," or "Oh, I know that." Just to be relatable to all types of listeners.
Okay, yeah, I can list a couple. I would say one of my first moments that I was like really excited about was I got to do this Pepsi commercial with Doja Cat,
Hmm.
which was really crazy because I remember being a kid and like watching concerts and like things like that and being like, whoa, like that is so cool. They're dancing with an artist that I love. I love that person's music. And I didn't even know Doja Cat was gonna be on this job. I didn't know, like, the scale of it. I just, like, got a booking and I was like, "Oh, this is awesome." And then I walk into the studio and they're like, "Oh, and then Doja's gonna be doing this." And I was like, "Oh, you mean Doja Cat? Like, she's gonna be standing right beside me." And this was after, like, a summer of, like, me and my friends, like, in the car, like, screaming random songs that we love by her. So
Wow.
to yeah, and, like, obviously Pepsi, we all know Pepsi. I was just
Yes.
like, "This is kind of insane that I'm going to be doing something that I don't know, like, that I understand. I, like, have tasted Pepsi and I've listened to Doja Cat, so that was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, that is really flipping cool." So, that was one of them for sure.
Oh.
Another one would definitely be Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. I did this TV series, for a pilot, which was, like, a month of work just because they put a lot of energy into the pilot to see if it's gonna, like, take flight or not, and then I
Hmm.
did about, like, 3 months on season 1, and then season 2 took place during COVID, so it did take a little longer, and it was about, like, 5 months. And then I did a movie, which was about a month and a half. So it was, like,
Mm.
all within Zoe's, there was, like, 2 seasons in a movie that, like, kept me working for, like, 2 years spread out, and that is a
Gold.
dream of a job because the people that were leading that were, like, Mandy Moore, Jillian Myers, and also Jeff Mortensen, who's another Albertan, shout out Alberta,
Mm.
um, but they were, like, leading us with such grace and also to go to a studio where I was like, "Oh, yeah, this is my cubby. I know exactly where I'm going," for, like, that length of time. I've never experienced anything like that because most of my jobs are like, "You're in this music video for a week and a half," or "You're gonna be on this episode of this TV show. You have 1 shoot day and 1 rehearsal."
One
It's like
shoot day. Yeah, exactly.
it's so quick, which is not bad, and I actually, like, I enjoy that kind of experience because I never really lived the same day twice, but
Yeah.
to be like, "Oh, I feel safe and comfortable, and these people are making me feel at home," it was like, "Oh, when you have a job that's working and it feels, like, good, and we're still doing things that are, like, creative." Also the premise of the show, if anyone doesn't know it, is this girl can, like, see and hear people's emotions or thoughts through song and dance, so a lot of the things that I do are like based in reality. So it's like, oh, we need just people doing a flash mob or um, just like a little bit of like club dancing or waltzing. It's all based in reality. Whereas this specific show was based in fantasy. So it was like, if we want to feel like 1,000 scarves come out of our shirts, it can. Or if we want to feel like we are like floating on the sky, like this is all in her brain. So we can go like really far in any direction.
Oh,
So it did like
cool.
open up the possibilities to be like playful and fun and every single scene was really different. So that was really cool to be just
Wow.
experiencing that for like a couple months. I also was on the skeleton crew of that project and I got to like work as like a private instructor for some of the actors in there because they just wanted a little bit of extra help. So it was like a lot of things that I enjoy doing, like the creative process, the teaching process, the dancing process, working with the camera on set, like learning the call sheet, getting to know all of these crew members and directors. Like, it wasn't like I was just jumping on and then jumping off. It was like I really got to cultivate relationships with these people. And I think that was one of my most favorite jobs I've ever done, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And can you tell listeners about your experience with Tate McRae?
Oh, Tate McRae. Well, okay, first of all, I'll just say that I remember being like 14 and watching Tate McRae solo as like however old she was, like 8 or 9, and just being jaw dropped. She has always
Because not a
been.
lot of people know that Tate, I mean, a lot do, but a lot don't, are like her background is dance.
Oh, she is a full-fledged dancer, like the best
Yeah,
dancer ever. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so I remember watching her as a kid, and I was lucky enough to like do some like submissions and like video projects while we were still living in Calgary. And I followed her journey for a long time. And then when she started making music, it's actually funny because as soon as I finished with Zoe's, it was during COVID, and I was a little bit like, oh, do I stay in Vancouver? It's a little bit more open with like the regulations and stuff going on. And then my agents in LA called me and they were like, can you be in LA tomorrow? And I was like, yes. I like called my
Isn't that
mom.
what we do?
It is so what we do. I had like a full apartment in Vancouver that I was like, hey mom, we got to pack this bad boy up. So it actually, I think it was like in 2 days. So we packed my apartment up. We put half the stuff in her car, half the stuff in my car, and I start driving. I just drive straight to LA, because of course I need my car wherever I go. And that was the end of my Vancouver apartment. And then I just moved to LA, and I like was like, okay, and now I'm starting over again because of course I had my visa, but I was just like not really doing much with it because of COVID. So then as soon as I went back with Tate, it was kind of like, okay, life is starting again, let's go. And I did Tate's virtual concert. She did like, I want to say like 8 songs or something like that. And it was a virtual concert on Zoom, which was really cool. Holy smokes.
Wow.
With the choreographer was Michelle Dolly, who's also from Calgary, Alberta. Tate McRae, who we all know is from Calgary, Alberta, and there was I think 2 or 3 other dancers. And
Alberta, baby.
yes, we're killing it. But yeah, Tate was phenomenal to work with. We would like work on choreo. She would come in, learn it in seconds, kill it, slay it. She's still hitting that leg over 180 degrees
She
every
sure
time.
frickin' is.
Yeah, it's undeniable. And she's working with the most like professional working dancers. Like the people that I look up to and have been looking up to for so many years are the people that are like, oh yeah, I want to dance for Tate McRae. And she's working with Sean Bankhead, like the most elite in our industry. So I will
Wow.
say that I had nothing but good things to say about working with Tate McRae. She is fierce. The songs slapped. We were doing like jazz funk. We were doing contemporary. We were doing like real jazz. We were
Yeah.
doing a lot of different things. And yeah, the fact that it was like a Zoom concert, there was like time for like us to play with the camera and like different set locations and things like that, which was really cool. So definitely like overall a 10 out of 10 experience for me.
One of those career highs that I think you'll never forget. And on that note, and I know we're getting tight for time, but I don't want to leave the audience, the listeners, without you talking briefly about your experience, maybe your highest of highs on the Emmys,
Oh, you mean the Oscars?
or sorry, the Oscars.
No, no, that's all good. I haven't even done the Emmys yet, but I like that you're manifesting that for me
It's
because,
there.
I'm,
It was said first on Briggs and Co.
I love you. Okay, so the Oscars, holy smokes. The first time I did the Oscars was at the 95th Academy Awards, and I got to do a piece to Natu Natu from this movie called RRR. And I had no idea that I was going to be doing like one of the leading principal roles. So I was in Brazil with my family at the time, and I got an audition notice, and I was like, okay, I have to do this. It's the Oscars. And
Let me think on that. Yeah.
okay, but let me tell you the real story. I got direct booked for this feature film, and at the time, I've only done TV movies. So I was really excited to do a movie that was going to be in a movie theater. So I got direct booked on this movie with a choreographer named Ryan Heffington, who I've dreamt of working with for so long. And it
Mm-hmm.
was a movie based on Middle Easterns, and like there was a Middle Eastern dancing scene. So I was like, this is right up my alley. I'm gonna be depkiing. Like this is I've trained at weddings for this. Like I'm ready to go. And then I got the email about the Oscars, and my agents were like, "Oh, you're already booked on the Heffington movie. You don't really need to submit for this." And I was like, "Okay, great.
Whoa.
No worries." Then my other agent, who's also from Calgary, Alberta, shout out Lainey, she was like, "Oh, wait, I think that this production might have issues with O1s." That's also very good for people to know. Some productions do not hire O1 visas. So I was already booked on this. I was going to do Skeleton Crew, going to do this scene, and then they're like, "Never mind, you can't." So my agent was like, "Just send in your audition either way, because if you don't get this movie, we want you to be working." So I'm in Brazil chilling with my family. I go to my like cousin's like gym, and I'm doing this audition and like learning these traditional Indian dance moves that I'm not very trained in, but obviously I will make anything work in a gym that's like very small. And I'm just like, okay, I'm doing my best. Here I go.
This is me on
I
the stage at the Oscars.
exactly. I get booked. I'm like, dancer booking, amazing. I'm so excited. I fly home from Brazil a couple days early because
Oh my
obviously
god.
I love to prioritize my career. I get there and I am walking into rehearsal and they're like calling me over, holding pictures up beside my face, being like, "Can you please not shave your beard for the next week?" And I'm like, "Okay, I have no idea what's going on." Then we start learning the piece and they're like, "Okay, Billy, this lead actor over here." It's like me and this other boy are being like lead characters where we are supposed to be like singing, so we're like lip singing these lyrics in a different language that are very fast while doing a dance routine that in the movie is sped up. So we are moving at like 1,000 miles a minute,
3 times
saying
speed.
saying words that we don't understand, that we don't know, while like trying to like do camera moves and the choreography and work with our props. So that was
Oh.
one of the most insane experiences. That was one of the most challenging experiences I've ever had. But I can tell you, like, verbatim in my diary months before, I was like, I want jobs that I feel like a star in. I want jobs that I feel challenged in. I want jobs that are gonna like push me in my training. So I was like eating my words as I was like staying up and like practicing my lyrics in an ice bath because I
Because
was training and
body,
I
mind, soul is hurting.
absolutely, but also I was like, "This is the dream. This is the dream. I asked for this." So
Oh
reminding
my
myself that
gosh. Listeners, go check out that performance. Again, maybe I'll link it below so that you can see it because it is an outstanding piece of choreography and just art in general. So that is something that you must watch, and please, please make sure that you utilize the other resources that are in the details of this episode below because like Billy said, he is open to questions, and don't take advantage, or sorry, take advantage of that opportunity. Billy, before I let you go, I have 3 fire round questions for you. Super fast, super lighthearted. Here we go. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Would you prefer to explore space or the ocean?
Ooh, space. I love the moon. I love the stars. I will take both if I can, but space is my answer.
Okay. And you have one meal, one dinner with a fictional character. Who would it be?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Ah! Okay, give me 10 seconds. Fictional character. Who
8,
would it be? Oh
5.
no! Okay, I'm gonna say the first thing that's popping to my head
Yeah.
because I often do this voice when I'm nervous that sounds like Mickey Mouse. So I'm
Oh
gonna
my
just say Mickey
god.
Mouse because I feel like that would be comforting. I just like start talking really high. So I think that would be kind of hang out with Mickey Mouse. Also, what a legend, Mickey Mouse. Let's hear it from
This
him.
is so funny because the other guest that I had on literally said, I think it was Daphne Duck or Daphne or Donald Duck, one of
Daffy,
those.
yes.
And those are like,
You.
yeah, those are the two Disney. Oh my God, that's funny. Okay, and then my last one is other than the entertainment industry, what industry or sort of career would you choose?
Okay, I love this question because I almost chose it because schooling is very important to my family. My mom is a psychiatric nurse, and I have always been like interested in like first of all mental health and also like why people do the things they do, like the brain patterns and things like that. So if I was gonna pick something else, I think it would be like psychology or something in that realm, just because I think humans are so interesting, and we are.
Yeah. They are, and that is the reason why I love interviewing guests just like yourself, and I am so grateful to be a friend, to be a colleague, and to be able to watch you set goals and achieve them and beyond. So please keep doing what you're doing. I'm so excited for this new project that you are on. Congratulations on all of the things that you are taking on right now in your life. Yeah, I love watching you soar.
I love you so much. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for having me on this. Sorry it was
Yes.
cut a little short, but I am so grateful that I got to chat with you.
Busy dancer. Okay, Bill, take care of yourself.
Love you, love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye-bye. And we're wrapped. Another episode of Briggs & Co. where we leave average for Joe. I hope you all enjoyed that one. It was a true pleasure to chat with Billy. A lot of valuable insight into how he launched his career. And he has also offered and opened up the contact line. So either reach out to me or reach out directly to Billy if you have any questions at all. We are here for you. We are here to guide you and offer support. So please take advantage of this platform and reach out if you have anything at all. Take care of yourselves. Same time next week. Let's leave average for Joe, y'all.